Item 409. Prestressed concrete piling. 1. Description. Furnish and place prestressed concrete piling. 2. Materials. Use materials that meet the requirements of the following items. Item 420, concrete substructures. Item 421, hydraulic cement concrete. Item 425, precast prestressed concrete structural members. Item 440, reinforcement for concrete. Fabricate prestressed concrete piling in accordance with the following items. Item 424, precast concrete structural members, fabrication. Item 425, precast prestressed concrete structural members. Furnish piling in the lengths indicated on the plans when test or test-loaded piling is not required. When test or test-loaded piling is required, the engineer will approve lengths based on test driving data or test load data. Cast regular piling only after the engineer has determined the approved lengths based on the test or test-loaded piling. 3. Construction. Handle and store piling in a way that minimizes the risk of damage by impact or bending stress. Store piling above ground on adequate blocking. Do not use chain slings to handle piling. Immediately review and correct conditions causing the damage to any piling. Drive piling in accordance with Item 404, driving piling. Test load, when required, in accordance with Item 405, foundation load test. 3.1 Defects and breakage. Damage to piling due to faulty materials or construction methods may be cause for rejection. Piling damaged in the process of fabrication, handling, storing, hauling, or driving is subject to the acceptance criteria and repair provisions set forth in the Concrete Repair Manual. 3.2 Buildups and cutoffs. Construct buildups in accordance with plan details and Item 420, concrete substructures. Make the final cut of the concrete square to the longitudinal axis for cutoffs. 3.3 Test piling. Test piling must meet requirements for prestressed concrete piling. The engineer may adjust the number of test piles to secure desired information. 4. Measurement. 4.1 Concrete piling. Prestressed concrete piling and prestressed concrete test piling will be measured by the foot of acceptable piling in place after all cutoffs and buildups have been made. When the contractor elects to drive piling deeper than required to meet the specified length and bearing requirements, no measurement will be made on that portion below the elevation at which length and bearing requirements were first obtained. 4.2 Buildups. Buildups will be measured by each authorized, completed buildup made necessary by driving beyond the planned pile length to obtain required bearing resistance. No measurement will be made for a buildup made necessary by improper casting, handling, or driving. 4.3 Cutoffs. Cutoffs for both regular and test piling will be measured by the foot of cutoff above required grade. 5. Payment. The price bid is full compensation for jetting, pilot holes, alignment holes, repairs, materials, tools, equipment, labor, and incidentals. Test-loaded piling and associated anchor piling will be paid for as provided in Item 405, Foundation Load Test. Any test load ordered by the engineer that is not provided for in the contract will be paid for in accordance with Article 9.7, Payment for Extra Work and Force Account Method. 5.1 Concrete piling. The work performed and materials furnished in accordance with this item and measured as provided under measurement will be paid for at the unit price bid for prestressed concrete piling or prestressed concrete test piling of the size specified. 5.2 Buildups. An additional payment for each completed authorized buildup splice for both regular and test piling, regardless of buildup length, will be made at a price equal to 10 times the unit price bid for prestressed concrete piling. Where piling is broken back for constructing buildups, payment for the breakback is included in the payment for buildups. 5.3 Cutoffs. Payment for cut-off lengths of both regular piling and test piling will be made at a price equal to 1/2 the unit price bid per foot for pressed-rest concrete piling. Payment for cut is included in the payment for cut-offs.